Mathematics, Advanced Subsidiary Level, Paper 1, 2024, Part 2. Question number 3. In the expansion of bracket 2x minus 3 over x, close the bracket, to the power 6, find the term independent of x. Now what is this? This is the binomial theorem. The binomial theorem. And if you look at an example, you can look on page 87 and example 46 will help you. But also, if you want to look at the formula, so let's just look at the formula, which is going to help you a lot. It's that t, and that is on page 84. And that's t to the power r plus 1 equals n over r, okay, or a to the power n minus r, and then the second part b to the power of r. Now let's use that formula. Okay, so let's start by saying the r plus 1 term equals, and now we start. So because there's a 6, so it's 6r, do you see there? I just want to change to blue. Just here, this part, it's fine. I don't have to change all. Okay, let's just go rather to blue. So it's going to be 6r, then it's going to be 2x, that first term, 2n minus r. Now what is n? It's 6, so it's 6 minus r. And then the second term, don't forget to grab that sign. So it's negative 3 over x, and that is to the power of r. Okay, and now I can start simplifying. So leave it first 6 over r, okay. And now this is 2, so take multiply it with that 1 and with that 1. So you have 6 minus r, then x, 6 minus r, then that negative 3, take it with the top, okay, to the power of r, but there's a 1 and there's a 1 also, and then x, but remember if x comes up, it becomes negative 1, okay. I think I'll first write it like this, and then 2r. Okay, write a little bit long so that you follow nicely. Okay, so let's go on. So 6r, and now I simplify it to 6 minus r, then x, 6 minus r. Okay, so actually this step was unnecessary, I think, but I just rewrite it a little bit clear. So x minus, okay, so let's just see x minus r. Okay, now this one, I think you could have left out this step. So make it 6 over r. I just multiply that in. I could have done it in the previous step. Okay, so make it 2, 6 minus r. Okay, and now don't forget, I'm bringing that, okay, negative 3 to the power r. Do you see that this is x, the base, and x? I'm just making it one term there. So basically, I'm going to say it's x, 6 minus r minus another r. Okay, and that will give me 6r over 2, 6 minus r, and then it is negative 3. I think let's just leave this step. This is really unnecessary. I have all the information that I want. Okay, so to have, let's just say, to have x to the power of 0, because then it's independent of x. It's just a constant. We require that part. Do you see? Because there's the x base. So that 6 minus 2r to be equal to 0. So if I simplify this, it's negative 2r equals negative 6. And the value of r, if I divide it, is 3. Okay. Now, hence, okay, so hence, the term independent of x, and now I'm just going to say, because I have r now, so it's 6r, I'm just substituting r, and I'm substituting it, can I just show you? I'm substituting it in there. Okay, that I could have just made 2r, in there, okay. So it's going to be 2, 6 minus 3, and then negative 3 to the power of 3, and then x 6 minus 2, it's minus 3 or 2 times 3, doesn't matter. Okay, okay, and now don't forget, if you press it on your calculator, you will look for the key, and the key is like this. Can I just write it? It's NCR. So basically just press 6, that NCR, and then press 3 and then equal. And what is your calculator telling you? It's telling you 20. And then 2 to the power of 3, that will be 8. Okay, 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. Then negative 3 to the power of 3 is negative 27. And then, because x to the power of 0 is then just that 1. And then I just take again my calculator and I multiply it, and I get negative 4320. So basically, I don't know why I wrote it. I thought I had to write another thing. So negative 4320. That is the term which is the constant, which is independent of x. Let's look at the exam report. It's fairly answered. The concept of binomial expansions is still a problem for some of the candidates. The candidates should be taught the shorter way to determine a specific term in a binomial expression, rather than writing all the terms, including terms that are not needed in answering the question. Like I did it, I just worked out the constant. This proves to be time-wasting and may increase the chances of loss of marks due to calculation errors and also not finishing the paper. Some candidates substitute this instead. They forget about the negative, so grab that sign, okay, the second term, which results in a positive, and the answer was negative. Others only listed the terms but did not pick out the term independent of x as required by the question. A few gave their answer as T4 or fourth term. They should be encouraged to write the value of the term rather than state the position of the term. Okay, and if you're looking here, it was just, if you were writing, did you see that we came there? You got that 1 mark. And then if you, the second mark was just for, or this, where I simplify it a little bit further. Did you see there? Or if I just come to the value of r, I think rather in our question, it was coming to the value of r and then for the final answer. That's how you got your 3 marks. Question number 4. A pump is used to extract air from a bottle. The first operation of the pump extracts 145 cubic centimeters of air, and subsequent extractions follow a geometrical progression, with 145 cubic centimeters being the first term. The fourth operation of the pumps extracts 74.24 cubic centimeters of air. Determine the common ratio of the geometric progression. What is this? This will be sequences, and it's a GP, and you can look there on page 50, example 11, in the y equals mx plus c mathematics textbook. That will help you. Okay, let's start. Let's start by writing down what we have. We have the first term, which is also the value of a. And we have the fourth term, which is 74.24. So don't forget that the first term is also the value of A. So what is the formula? Again, you can go to the formula sheet and you can find it, but I think it's a very easy formula to remember. N minus 1. Okay, so I'm putting in the fourth term, 74.24. I'm putting in the value of A, 145. I'm looking for R, but I know it's the fourth term, so it's 4 minus 1, which will be 3. So if I divide now, if I say 74.24, and I divide it with 145, and then I'm getting R to the power of 3. Okay, and then I can simplify this. I can use my calculator. I did it without the calculator. So what I did is I first got the decimal and then I pressed the ABC, but it's not necessary. You can basically just take the cube root. Okay, so I just show you, then I show you on the side. Then I got 64 over 125 is R3, and 64 was 2 to the power 6, and it was 5 to the power of 3, and that was R3. And if you then take the cube root, then it will be 2653, and it will be 2 to the power of 2 over 5, which is 4 over 5. But if you take this, and you take the cube root here, you will just get 0.8, which is also correct. Okay, because it's exact. Okay, so that is the value of R. I'm first going to finish the whole question, and then I will go to the exam report, because it's not such a challenging question. Okay, let's go to the next one. Okay. So, in which operation does the pump first extract less than 10 cubic centimeters of air? And again, it's a geometrical progression. So, again, it's a GP. And you can again look there on page, in my Y equals mx+c mathematics textbook, page 51, and that will be example 12. You can look there. Okay. But let's start. So I have Tn. I'm going to just start in blue, seeing that you must use either a blue or a black pen. Okay, so Tn, and then it's smaller than 10. So the first, in which of does the pump first? So it's referring to the term, not to the sum. Okay, so it's again that A or n minus 1 when it's smaller than 10. So it's 145 for A. I have now my 0.8, I have my n minus 1 and smaller than 10. I'm just substituting. Then I divide the 145 to both sides. So then I will have 10 over 145. Then, now to get this, because this is to go to logarithms. Okay, so what do? I take log on both sides. Log, and then it was that. Now you can press this on the calculator if it's easier to press for you on the calculator, but you can also leave it 10 over 145. Otherwise, it's a long decimal. Okay, but now it's very okay. First bring this n minus 1 to the front. Follow your rules. Okay. But now, this is a very important step. You are going to divide both sides by log 0.8. So you must look on your calculator if log 0.8, press it on your calculator. And all that you are looking for, is it a negative or is it a positive? Now, this is a negative. So as soon as I'm going to divide now both sides by log, this sign must swap around. Okay, so that is very important, that you always test to see, okay, and it was negative, and that's why the sign is swapping. Okay, so I'm going to press it then on my calculator. I'm having n minus 1, and I'm having log 10 over 145, and I divide by log 0.8. Okay, now I get n minus, oh, what did I forget? Did you see that? I hope you saw that. I hope you said, Mr. Mel, you must stop, you must stop. You forgot, you said that, but you forgot to change the sign around. Okay, luckily I look up and then I see that, and that's exactly the same what you must do, remember. Okay, so, so control yourself in the process. So n minus 1, okay, and the value I get on my calculator is 11.98398,356. So if I'm going to take it to the other side, that one, I'm just going to get 12 point, if I approximate now, 98, but it's the first term that's bigger. Okay, so therefore, the value of n will be 13. And that's how I do that. Okay, again, I will look now at the exam report. I'm just finishing up with this one. If the pump continues extracting air indefinitely, calculate the total amount of air that could be extracted from the bottle. Now again, and I think before I'm going to quickly show it to you. First, it's the sum to infinity, and then I'll show you where you can also find the formulas if you cannot recall it. But I always say, and I think I already said it in videos also, you are memorizing so many things in history, biology. So please also there you will also see the formula. Just memorize this formula. You are really capable of, it's not difficult formulas, this ones. Okay. So, but I want to show you the formula sheet. It's here at the back. So I want you to use it also. Because sometimes if you're nervous, you struggle to recall something or you're afraid you are making a mistake with the plus or the minus, and then it's actually good that they're giving you the formula sheet. So can you see the formula that we were using for a geometrical? It's a geometrical. So we were using this one. Did you see the Tn? And this is the one to infinity. Okay, but let's go back. Okay, so we go back. I just wanted to show you. It's on the formula sheet. So let's just go back. Okay, here we are. So this was actually very easy. It's a very easy formula. It's a very easy. You must just identify that it's the sum to infinity. So it's the sum to infinity, which is a over 1 minus r. And that is going to be 145. And it's 1 minus 0.8. You can say 0.8 or 1 over 5. So the final answer is going to be, don't put that step. I think you can do that. But the final answer is 7 to 5, the sum to infinity. Okay, now I'm going to take you to the exam report. So on the exam report, they are saying to you, I think I can make it still a bit bigger, then you can see better, okay? This was moderately answered, so in between. Misread of the number 74.24 was often seen and some candidates, so please make sure you copy correctly. Control yourself. Resulting in wrong values of R. As a result, they could not get full marks even if their methods was correct, which is sad because that is sometimes, it's nice if the examiners do that, is say, show that the value of R is this, because then it will help the learners in the question B and C. But sometimes they do it, sometimes not. So rather make sure that you do that first step correct. A few candidates leave their answer as that. No, press it on the calculator or this. No, work it out. In such, full marks cannot be obtained since this is a simple calculation that can easily be done on a calculator. That's not exact. First, get your answer. That's the final answer is 0.8. Okay, so they gave you 1 for the method. Can you see there? And then for the 4/5 or the 0.8, which will also be correct. Okay. And then the number B, it was fairly answered. It was noted with concern that candidates resorted to listing all the terms from 1 to 30. Now, it's time consuming. Don't do that. In order to determine below 10. This is time wasting and can easily result in calculation errors. If more terms are involved, this will be a very cumbersome task for candidates to do, so especially if there was 20 terms. Learners should be encouraged to make use of formula to calculate the required values. For those who use the correct inequality, most of them miss the sign change. Remember that sign that you have to check when they divide it by log 0.8. Others wrongly multiply 145 by 0 and proceed to divide by log, which result in losing. Okay, so that was mistakes. So there they gave you a mark. Then if you up to this step, you see there where you divide both sides by log, that would also be correct, and then the 13. And then the final one was fairly answered. A few candidates used the formula for Sn instead of the infinity. Candidates should understand that contextual questions are meant to apply the concept they have learned from a topic in a particular setup. Some candidates fail to realize that the term indefinitely was a clue for them to realize that this was a sum to infinity. Okay, so infinity, just make sure of the language there. And so that you understand that that means that's the sum to infinity. Instead, they used the answer from the previous question and calculate the sum of 30 terms. But it was actually, if you just saw that it's the sum to infinity, I think it was a very, very easy part of the question. Question number 5. Find the set of values of the constant h for which the equation x squared minus 38x plus h has no real roots. Okay, now what is this? This is determine the nature of roots. And where will you find it in the y equals mx plus c mathematics textbook? So you will find on page 17, you can look at example 17. That's going to help you. And then also it's going into a quadratic inequality. Okay, so we can actually make that also yellow, green, sorry. A quadratic inequality. And that you will find in the y equals mx plus c mathematics AS-Level textbook, page 27, example 29. Okay, that will help you. So let's start. So since the equation has no real roots, so no real roots, then the discriminant is smaller than 0. So basically, I'm going to work out the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac, and it's smaller than 0. So there is b, so it's negative 3h squared minus 4. A is 1, c is h, and it's smaller than 0. So this is going to be 9h squared minus 4h, and that's smaller than 0. Okay, now it's a quadratic inequality. Do you see that? So basically, I rather just do it on the side here, okay? So I'm making it an equation just to help me with the sketch. Okay, so I take h out as an common factor. So I have 9h minus 4, and that's 0. So h equals 0, or 9h equals 4, so h equals 4 over 9. So if I make my sketch here, doesn't matter what, I'm just there. If I make my sketch here, just going to do it, yes, like this. Okay, it's smaller, okay, so smaller, but you can just do the sketch like this. Oh, no, because it's 0, so let's rather make it a bit more realistic. So it's there at 0, okay, my sketch is there, not so good, but 4 over 9. But now, because it's smaller, so basically the smaller will just indicate to me it's this part, okay. So if now I can go back, and I can say h, okay, I'll just get my pen correct. So h, now this is not an equal sign, so don't put an equal, is bigger than 0 and smaller than 4 over 9. Okay, so I just do, you can do it on this side also, just to help you, and not to get messy in your method of displaying it. Okay, so the next one, in the case where h is -2, determine the number of real roots of the equation. Okay, so now I'm going to put in, so let's first write it down. It was, I prefer always to first write it as it stands there before I substitute. I don't know why. I think you make less mistakes, unnecessary mistakes, okay? So in the place of h, I will put -2. And that's equal to 0. So it's going to be x squared plus 6x minus 2, and that's 0. Okay, now I can work out the discriminant to determine the roots. So the discriminant, and again, if I must help you, it's to determine the nature of roots. And you will look there on page 16, number 14, in the y equals mx+c. That will help you. Okay, so the discriminant, I'm going to work it out. So it's b squared minus 4ac. So b squared is going to be 6 squared minus 4a is 1, c is -2, is equal to 36 plus 8, and that's 44. And now it's a positive number. Do you see? Bigger than 0. So the discriminant is bigger than 0. So therefore, 2 real roots. So it will cut the x-axis at 2 points. But let's go to the exam report. Okay. On the exam report, question number 5A, that's what I do, that's what I got, can you remember? So they give marks they give a mark if you got up to there, did you see? And then they give a mark if you got this, where it cuts the x-axis, and then if you put it in the inequality format, then they give you a mark. Okay, but let's just see what they said about how the question was answered. Maybe it's the, previous. Let's see if it was on the previous page. Yes, here. It was moderately answered. Majority of candidates realized that they had to calculate the discriminant in terms of h, but could not deal with the resulting quadratic inequality when it goes there. The common wrong answer seen was this. Some who could not manage to deal with the quadratic inequality still spoiled their final answer by leaving the answer as this, okay? So don't put equal signs if there's not equal signs in the original one. Quadratic inequality should be taught well, okay? So that is what, so please don't put the equal signs there. And then, because no real roots, it was the part of the question, smaller than 0. This was poorly answered. Most candidates only managed to substitute -2 in the equation to obtain the equation of this, but could not use the idea of discriminant to make conclusions. Those who get the discriminant as 44 wrongly calculated that the equation has 44 real roots. Others concluded that the equation has real and unequal roots, but did not mention the number of roots. Okay, so it's a quadratic. It will only cut the x-axis 2 times. Either 1 or 0, if it's no real roots, or if it's equal, then it's 1 time at the turning point, otherwise 2. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So they gave you, if you came to the 44, but two roots, 2 real roots. Okay, or 2 roots. They were looking for the number 2.
Exam tips!
Alright, class. Use Pythagoras' theorem to find the height of an equilateral triangle with a side length of 2 centimeters.
Okay, I got 173 centimeters.
Same. My final answer is square root 3.
Wait, Oopie, you need to round it. It should be 1.73 to 3 significant figures.
But square root 3 is exact. Why round?
Good question. Leave answers in exact form when possible. Square root 3 is fully correct.
Oh, so I didn't have to round.
Exactly. Only round when the question asks. Exact answers don't need rounding. Lesson learned?
If an answer is exact, I don't need to round it to 3 significant figures.